the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Thanks for joining us here at 11 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. Vaccine clinics in central Indiana were open and running this weekend, ensuring that hundreds of frontline workers received their first dose of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. Our Alyssa Donovan stopped by the Riley Hospital Vaccine Clinic to hear the message from those receiving their shots today.
The clinic here at Riley Hospital is one of 7 clinics with IU Health where they're administering the COVID-19 vaccine in central Indiana. Today, around 290 patients received the vaccine here at Riley.
I worked in the COVID ICU as a nurse at the very beginning of the outbreak.
But now, infection preventionist Jessica Huddleston is overseeing the COVID-19 vaccination clinic at Riley Hospital.
So I've seen how horrible it is, and I'm so proud and happy to be part of a team where we're, part of the solution.
Volunteers administering around 24 shots an hour. Chief Medical Officer of Riley Children's Health, Elaine Cox, working the clinic this morning and coming back in the afternoon to receive her first dose of the Pfizer vaccine.
Many people came through and said it was just so simple and so easy. But that's what we want, right? If you want people to take the vaccine, we need to make it as simple as we can.
Each patient is given a sticker with the time they received the vaccine and when they can be released after being monitored for 15 minutes.
It's important with vaccines that we always do that, but particularly with a new vaccine, we want to be super safe and super conservative and make sure that everybody who gets it walks out of here completely fine.
Pediatrician Angela Dietrich Cush barely feeling the shot in her arm.
So I told the nurse, don't worry about the Band-Aid, because I honestly didn't even feel the shot.
Many of these frontline workers hoping their trust of the vaccine inspires others to feel safe about receiving it.
To protect myself, since I am a frontline worker and am exposed to COVID on a daily basis. And I also think it's important for my family, and I hope that I can set a good example and show people that it's safe and that we all need to do this to get through this pandemic.
Additional doses of the vaccine are expected to be delivered to all of the clinics tomorrow. I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
Alyssa, thank you. Vaccination clinics like the one at Riley Hospital are encouraging patients to sign up for a program called V-Safe on their phone. This tracks symptoms and reaction of the vaccine in people nationwide. If you have questions or concerns about the COVID-19 vaccines, we are working for you with an entire section on our website. Log on to WRTV.com/coronavirus to find information in a question and answer format. Plus, we also have all the latest coverage from our team in this section as well, including stories from experts, frontline workers, and those who have battled the virus. Let's get to the very latest COVID-19 numbers tonight from the State Health Department. Another 6,558 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with the virus. 53 more Hoosiers have died, bringing the total number of deaths to 7,070. Since March, more than 464,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19, and more than 5.2 million tests have been administered in Indiana. New tonight, lawmakers have reached a deal on a stimulus package just hours before a potential government shutdown. A House vote on the bill is scheduled for tomorrow before it heads to the Senate. One of the final hurdles lawmakers overcame, language proposed by Republican Senator Pat Toomey that would curtail the authority of the Federal Reserve. Toomey argued 3 pandemic-related lending programs should end because they achieved their purpose. Democratic leader Chuck Schumer said the proposed language was so broad it would have tied the hands of the incoming Biden administration.
Logjam was broken. Senator Toomey accepted my compromise to remove the dangerous similar to language in his bill that was overly broad.
The roughly $900 billion package is expected to include $300 billion in aid to businesses, $300 in weekly federal unemployment benefits, and $600 in direct payments for millions of Americans, half of what the government sent out back in March. However, one thing left hanging in the balance is the relief for millions of Americans out of work. Now to your forecast tonight. Meteorologist Kyle Mounts joins me now. And Kyle, I really didn't enjoy being outside at all today because it was so cold out there.
A little chilly, but at least we saw some sunshine this afternoon. Yes. So that always goes a long way this time of year. And we'll see a little more sunshine as we go through the next couple of days. Out there tonight, temperatures have been kind of bouncing around here in the 30s. It's 33 in downtown, one of the chilly spots, while you're at 37 in Martinsville and 36 in Greencastle. I think those temperatures will hold steady, maybe even come up a couple of degrees here as we've got an increasing bank of some clouds, and eventually that'll lead to some showers as we go into tomorrow morning, but they should be of the rain variety with temperatures in the 30s. Set a reminder for this tomorrow night. Jupiter and Saturn in the night sky, about the closest they've been in about 400 years. You'll be able to see that between about 6 and 9:30 tomorrow night, but we'll talk about where clouds could impede that view in just a bit.
All right, Kyle, thank you. New at 11, Metro Police are investigating a crash and a shooting. The shooting victim was found inside the crashed vehicle tonight in the 2900 block of New York Street. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Police say he was driving with a woman and 2 children in the car. Investigators are not sure if the victim was shot before or after the crash.
I have to be here for him. I don't have a choice. So Christmas is going to be put on hold for a minute on our end.
Well, just days before Christmas, 2 young men and 3 teenagers from Indianapolis are recovering. Tonight, 2 are still in the hospital after a serious crash in Plainfield. As news spreads about what happened to the boys, the community is stepping in to support them and their family. The crash happened in Plainfield on US 40 last Wednesday. The boys were on their way to celebrate a birthday at Dave & Buster's when their family says they were rear-ended at a stoplight, pushed into oncoming traffic, and hit by a semi. Family says at least 2 were ejected from the car, including 15-year-old Jermaine, who was not wearing a seatbelt, sitting in the middle of the back seat. All 5, 4 of whom are brothers, range in age from 15 to 20 years old. They were rushed to the hospital, and thankfully they all survived. From the hospital today, we spoke with Jermaine's mother.
It was heartbreaking to see. For me to walk in a hospital and see my baby in a neck brace with blood pretty much from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet is a little overwhelming for any parent to see. To see my oldest son, because he kind of felt like he was the one that wanted to take the boys out for the birthday party. When I looked him in his eyes, I seen the hurt in his eyes because he felt like they got hurt on his time. You know, so it's going to be a long process. It's going to be some healing going on and a long recovery road, but we are down for it.
After hearing about the crash, the principal at Edison School of Arts immediately wanted to know if her former student Jermaine was okay. The now Shortridge High School student made a lasting impact on the principal and teachers for his bright smile and contagious energy. That is why she has started a GoFundMe page to raise money for medical bills.
All I knew was that he was in an accident and a semi truck hit them. And so I panicked and called Mom, and I'm like, is he alive? Like, everybody at the building was just like, is he alive? Is he going to be okay? I just thought, what can we do to help? At Edison, we're a family, and we're the cool cats. And so I said, once a cool cat, you're always a cool cat.
It's just so much love, so much love. I mean, from people that I didn't even realize had my phone number still. I mean, like, teachers from 3 years ago are calling me about Jermaine, you know, so I greatly appreciate all the love and the support that y'all giving to my sons.
Right now on the WRTV News app, in this story, we do have a link to the GoFundMe page if you would like to help this family out. Holiday celebrations may look different this year due to the pandemic, but law enforcement officers across the state want to make sure that you are still taking precautions on the road. As part of an effort to save lives and reduce fatalities on the roadways this holiday season, agencies across the state are increasing their patrols. Throughout the rest of the year, officers will be looking for impaired drivers and seatbelt violations. These overtime patrols are funded by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration through an Indiana Criminal Justice Institute grant.
As drivers, all of us, we have a responsibility to work together, follow the laws, buckle up, not drive impaired, make sound decisions. Be safe this time of year, keep the roadways safe. So please, I just urge everybody to drive sober. Buckle up, put your phone down, and not drive impaired or distracted, and again, use your seatbelt.
According to the administration, during Christmas and New Year's Day holiday periods in 2018, there were more drunk driving related fatalities at 285 than during any other holiday period that year in the U.S. And then last December in Indiana, there were 415 alcohol related crashes, resulting in 105 injuries and 11 fatalities. The IU football team has learned its destination for a bowl game today, and it was not nearly what the Hoosiers had hoped for after winning 6 of 7 games in the regular season. Brad Brown tells us where they are headed and the opponent that's now in store.
It was by many measures one of the best seasons in IU football history. They went 6-1. Only loss was by a single score to Big Ten champ Ohio State. Indiana finished 7th in the final AP Top 25, but evidently it was not enough to make one of the big New Year's 6 bowl games. Indiana will play in the Outback Bowl on January 2nd. That game in Tampa, a homecoming of sorts for IU head coach Tom Allen. The Hoosiers will take on Ole Miss, a team that went just 4-5 in the SEC this season. At number 7, IU is the highest-ranked team ever to not make a New Year's 6 bowl. SEC runner-up Florida and Big 12 runner-up Iowa State got spots in the Cotton and Fiesta Bowls, despite being ranked behind Indiana. Ball State is also going to a bowl game. The Cardinals will face Mountain West champ San Jose State in the Arizona Bowl. That game is set for New Year's Eve out west. It's BSU's first bowl appearance since 2013. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
All right, Brad, thank you. So many jobs are being affected by the pandemic, and that includes people who make house calls, for example, plumbers and other repairmen. Up next, why those jobs are practically disappearing. It is the peak of the holiday season, and that means lights and decorations are up everywhere you look. But with that comes the risk of fires from faulty wires, candles, and dry Christmas trees. Fire safety experts say more than half of the home decoration fires in December are started by candles, compared to 32% from January to November.
One of the big things we see with the candles are they go unattended. Or Christmas morning, mom's got the candles out, house is smelling perfect. Everybody starts opening their gifts, and the next thing you know, I'm going to show you real quick what can happen. So wrapping papers are flying, kids are having a great time, but what they forgot about was the fact that there was a candle nearby that the paper got attached to. And when that happens, we might notice this and we might not, but it could smolder, could go unattended for quite a long time. And this fire will spread rapidly. And so we just need to pay attention.
Between 2014 and 2018, U.S. fire departments responded to an annual average of 7,610 home structure fires caused by candles. As for fires caused by Christmas trees, they are uncommon, but they are also more likely to be serious when they do occur. The big things to remember is to keep natural Christmas trees from drying out. A dry tree is like a match. You should water your tree at least once a day. And as for Christmas lights and decorations, you should turn everything off when you go to bed. Having a repair worker inside your home during the pandemic can be a little bit unnerving. Repair workers say their incomes have nearly dried up as people are too scared to invite them inside. Cesar Rodriguez shows how many are being forced to find other incomes and what safety steps to take if you need to hire someone in your home.
Ron Belansky is passionate about working with his hands, but COVID-19 threw a wrench at how he made his living as a construction worker.
I took a job with a builder as their construction manager literally the day before Governor Pritzker closed down the state.
He was able to work for a few months before work dried up. Then he worked as a handyman. But as the pandemic fear continued, those opportunities dwindled. His 3 to 4 job offers a week went down to maybe 4 calls a month.
That has gone away completely. There is no one asking me for estimates on anything anymore. The only phone calls I do get are people in an emergency situation.
This jack of all trades says clients are reluctant to hire repair experts because of the current pandemic and social distancing guidelines.
It was a scary situation.
Marilu Garcia worried about her family when she needed a plumber for emergency gas line work.
Having a stranger come to my house was a big thing, but I understand that those were things that needed to be done. So I needed to make sure that I would get somebody that was also responsible, someone that was also taking this virus seriously.
Health experts say everyone in your house and any repair workers should wear a mask. You should limit interaction with repair workers and then disinfect areas that workers touch during the project. It's best for people with compromised immune systems to leave while the work is being done.
If you then leave the person to do the work and then are coming back later, presumably they may keep their mask on because they're in your house, particularly if they're not overtly sick, they're not coughing, they don't have any symptoms. It's unlikely that there'll be COVID in the air, so there's probably not an extended air out period that you need to worry about. But again, I think that the key is it's great if they would keep on their mask while they're in your home.
As for Ron, he's now on his third gig during the pandemic. He's found a job at a local hardware store.
It's a big box store, sure, and all that, but they're open. They're not closing. I have a mortgage. I have to worry about stuff like that.
I'm Cesar Rodriguez reporting.
Well, a chill in the air out there tonight, but it could be a whole lot colder, and it's going to get colder here in that 7-day forecast. We'll detail that coming up. Right now, we're at 33 downtown, 34 in Kokomo, and 37 in Bloomington. Feels a little bit colder than that because we do have that wind out of the southwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour. But it's that southwest wind that will hold temperatures fairly steady here for the rest of the night. We're also going to kind of pull that blanket of clouds back overhead. And as we get into tomorrow morning, fairly gray skies. A Clipper-type weather system is going to be scooting on through the area, and that will bring in the chance for some rain showers. You can see a little bit of snowflake activity maybe mixing in, but I think that would be pretty isolated here as we go through midday. A little bit of clearing into the afternoon, and then as we get to 8 o'clock tomorrow night, notice we've got some clearing off to the south and west, maybe a couple sprinkles, more cloud cover to the north and east. So seeing Saturn and Jupiter tomorrow evening, the farther south and west you are, the better your chances. Temperatures on Monday still not going to be bad, though. We'll have those numbers getting to 40 degrees here at 11 a.m., which is above the average high. And that southwest wind will drive us into the middle and upper 40s for an afternoon temperature. So it is going to be a little bit on the partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky here. But as we have those winds, the temperatures are going to feel more like the 30s as compared to those highs in the 40s. There you can see those winds will gust between about 20 and 30 miles per hour for much of the day. Next big weather system, that's going to be rolling in here late in the day on Wednesday and into Christmas Eve. You can see some rain developing here by Wednesday night. And then as the colder air moves in on the backside, brief area of some snowfall here as we go into early Thursday morning. Possibly enough to kind of coat the ground out there and may linger and give us a little bit of a white Christmas. Technically, it would be an inch of snow on the ground to get to that white Christmas, but right now we'll say about 30% chance that we'll have at least some white color out there as we go throughout our Christmas day. 33 on Christmas Eve, 24 the high on Christmas Day. That 7-day planning forecast. Temperatures, they will top out at 53 on Wednesday, then come crashing down. We've got lows in the teens Christmas morning and a high of 24.
Oh, it's going to be cold. Thank you, Kyle. Well, the Colts needed another win today, and they got it. But once again, it took until the final minute before the game was decided. Brad is back with a look at a Week 15 that went down to the wire when the news at 11 continues.
A stellar opening quarter for the Colts that set the tone in Sunday's rematch against the Texans. The first drive for the offense went 81 yards in 10 plays, chewed up more than 5.5 minutes. Jonathan Taylor's touchdown run got the scoring started. The defense was doing its part as well after so many sluggish first halves this season. A couple of sacks in the first quarter. DeForest Buckner forced the ball loose on this one. Justin Houston recovered the turnover, the D giving Deshaun Watson all sorts of trouble early on.
Coaches worked with me really well. We had a good game plan coming in on how we're going to use me today. Third down, some key situations. Everybody was just really, the communication was, perfect, from player to coach to the top to bottom.
The Colts turned that turnover into points. Phillip Rivers found Zach Pascal for a big 26-yard gain to get the Colts into the red zone. Then it would be Rivers to Pascal for the touchdown. A quick 14-0 advantage for Indy.
Each rep, each day that builds, you build more and more comfort together, all of us. And that was obviously huge. That was obviously a huge play after getting backed up there. That was a big-time drive. Everybody contributed.
The middle part of the game was a grind. Houston was able to chip away at that margin all along. By the middle of the fourth quarter, they had come back to tie it up. Watson to Kiki QT over the middle and into the end zone. With the kick, the game was tied at 20. Play of the day came with just over 2 minutes left. Rivers over the middle. T.Y. Hilton was wide open among 3 defenders. Biggest gain of the game, moved the ball to the 3-yard line.
There was a little communication with the backside safety of 50 early, kind of alerting 50, I guess, that T.Y. was the number 3 receiver. And I did feel like pre-snap they were going to 2. But when they started conversating, I was like, shoot, they're not going to let it happen. And but they did.
Pascal capped off his biggest game of the season. The toss out from Rivers, Pascal dives for the pylon, and he's in for the score. 5 catches for 79 yards in the game, but the stretch there put the Colts back in the lead.
Because of the penetration by the DN, I had to kind of bubble back and run like a swing. And he threw it to me. So, he threw it to me, and I knew it was just going to be one-on-one for the end zone, and I knew that we needed a touchdown.
Then see if this sounds familiar. The Colts defense had to make a play to secure the win. Watson to QT, looks headed to the goal line, but Darius Leonard comes from behind and punches the ball loose. Bobby Okereke eventually ends up on it in the end zone, and in a blink, the Colts pick up their 10th win of the season. No less thrilling than a couple weeks ago. 1 more point for the Colts this time in the 27-20 win.
Just letting you know that, we're going to fight to the finish. That's one thing, I told back when we got blew out against Tennessee. No matter what, we're going to fight to the finish, and then just go back to practicing. Every last series in practice, we always talk about, finish practice. Then if you finish practice, you finish the game.
The playoff chase doesn't change much. All of the AFC contenders in 4 through 8 win on Sunday. The Colts, for now, move up to the 5 seed. The Browns will play the Giants later tonight. The Colts go to Pittsburgh next Sunday. Brad Brown, WRTV Sports.
Tonight, several animals are now in loving homes for the holidays after a special 2-day adoption event at Indianapolis Animal Care Services. Shelter staff added double the amount of normal appointment times today and yesterday for the Deck the Paws adoption event. As we've reported, due to COVID-19, if you want to adopt an animal, you do have to make an appointment. It's part of an effort to keep staff members and the public safe and limit the number of people inside the building. We talked to a father today who adopted a black cat for his son, who is a big Black Panther fan.
Name is Honk. He was attacked really bad. Got a scar on his back and on his ear. Feel like he needed a good home, so we're taking him home and trying to do the best we can with him. It's important to give the animals a second chance and really to allow a family that want to love an animal that can't really afford, to go out and purchase one. I think it's a better avenue to go that way as well.
IACS has open appointment slots over the next 3 days. To prepare for your appointment, you can look online and fill out your application ahead of time on the shelter's website. And Kyle, that little boy was so cute. We tried to interview him. We asked him why he likes cats. He said, "'Cause they're furry."
That's a great reason to like cats,
so
right?
Cute.
Yeah, well, if you're going to be walking the dog here the next few days, weather is looking pretty good for that. We'll have temperatures in the 40s and even 50s on Wednesday. Don't forget about those four-legged friends with the colder air for the end of the week.
All right, Kyle, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night.